Good to have Shabbos Young Israel. I hope all are well and stay so. One might have imagined that as an introduction to Matan Torah, the receiving of the Torah, so the Chumash would have maybe recapped some of other major points in our history to get to this point. The Chumash could have given an introduction how important the Torah is, Emun and Hashem, warning us, whatever the case may have been. And yet we find that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in his infinite wisdom, placed the advice of Yisro as the parsha immediately leading up to the receiving of the Torah, in which the Chumash describes how everybody was online and Moshe Rabbeinu was sitting from morning till evening judging, and his father-in-law tells him it's not going to work. It's not good for you, not good for them. You have to come up with a system. We need Sarei Alofim, Sarei Meyel, Sarei Chamishim, Sarei Asarel. Have a court system, higher judges, lower judges, etc., etc. While an efficient court system is something that certainly is of benefit, one has to wonder of all the things in the Chumash, this is what has to come before Matan Torah, in particular, as Rashi points out, according to one of the opinions, that this all happened chronologically after the Torah was given. Vahimi Macharas means after Yom Kippur, after Moshe Rabbeinu came down for the final time. Chronologically, it doesn't even belong here. And yet Hashem stuck this right before Matan Torah, that's despite the fact that this is not chronologically the place. Obviously, teaching a lesson. Writes the Chaim HaKadosh, listen carefully. You know why Parshas Yisro, the Eitzah, the advice of Yisro, appears before the giving of the Torah? V'nir'a kitam hadavaru laros Hashem es b'nei Yisrael hador hahu, to show that generation, v'chol dor v'dor, and every subsequent generation, ki yesh ba'umos gedolim b'havana v'askala, that yesh ba'umos, that among the nations, among the Gentiles, there are plenty of smart people. As Yisro was a convert, was almost a convert at this point, and he came up with this great idea that we could have come up with. That's a precedent to Matan Torah. Don't think you're so smart. Yes, Hashem is going to be giving us the Torah. That'll create a special status with it. Am Segula. That'll create a tremendous responsibility that's incumbent upon us. That'll infuse our lives with meaning. That'll infuse our lives with a sense of direction, a sense of purpose. All of that is true. But it doesn't make us automatically smarter. Don't be so smart. Don't think you're smarter than everybody else in the world. And that, says our Chaim HaKadosh, is why HaKadosh Baruch Hu placed the advice of Yisro, even though chronologically it should have been later. But this, of all the different options, is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu decided to put before Matan Torah, to place before Matan Torah, as a gentle reminder that, yes, I'm going to give you the Torah, and that's going to impact you and make you more special than anybody else, but it doesn't automatically mean you're smarter than everyone else. Don't be such a wise guy. Don't assume that you're smart and everybody else isn't. That's Chachma Ba'Goyim Tamin, says our Chaim HaKadosh. HaKadosh Baruch Hu reminds us, through the advice of Yisro, who was not born Jewish, that there's what to learn from everybody. Even though we're receiving the Torah, there's still much to learn from those around us. Those who are not Jewish have a great, great Shabbos.